The Pony Roommate. Senior Year Surprises. College in most cases is really more of an excuse to not have any obligations just yet. Sure, you can go to college and learn material for the real world, like being a doctor or even a more knowledgeable marketing major. But with all of that considered, college is really more for the experience. Like being able to go to parties, having no legitimate obligations, basically high school without the part where your parents control you, stuff like that. This year would mark your final semesters in college. It was pretty sad as you unpacked your things into your student apartment. Nostalgia could be an ass at the worst times. This was the last round for you before you entered the real world. This was your last chance to really party it up before you got yourself a career. The last time you could really wake up whenever you wanted any day of the week. It hits harder when you realize how lucky you were to be a student rather than a full-fledged adult. Gone are the long vacations and more simple life. California was a great place to be, with extensive geography, wonderful landmarks, good food, and great driving roads. Well, there was a bad part, the fuel costs, especially for you. A BMW with a V8 wasn't ideal for the Golden State, but it made you happy, so whatever. Back to the good parts. The amount of hiking you could do was so vast. There's never been a time where you went the same trail twice, making it a tradition for you to go to a new hiking spot every Sunday. The places to go around and experience in San Diego was unlike most places. Food was limitless in terms of what to go out and eat. Venues and events were plentiful in downtown, but the greatest thing is how relaxed it was in the county. Everyone seemed to be enjoying their time. It was odd to see such a thing, especially in America. The student apartment you were in this year was quite odd. It was the one that just finished construction, and was as new as any apartment could be. However, college apartments usually had 3 or more bedrooms, but this one only had 2. Wondering who your roommate would be, you took the time to go into the main living area to inspect your surroundings. The center island was white, with black lights hanging from the ceiling along with 2 stools. The living area was roughly the same style, contemporary, with a fabric couch, metal coffee table, and a large paper-thin TV mounted onto the wall. The balcony next to the living room was rather large, with gray metal fencing and a small table set outside. For student apartments, it was rather nice for the price. Just when you were ready to leave and go to your room once again, you heard the door chime, signaling that your roommate was on the other side tapping their key to it. When the door opened, you were greeted with the last thing you thought you'd see. A mare.
What?
You're floored. There is no chance that this pony is your roommate. A female pony, of all things. Last year, remember, the opposite sex was not allowed to be living in a dorm together, but then again, it is an apartment. The pony part of the situation was actually less of a shock to you. After that thing, the thing, when ponies were discovered and they came to Earth and humans to Equestria, that thing? Yeah, that. You've seen a lot of weird things, and ponies were far down the list. Even if they were, in blatant terms, nudists, it wasn't weird. As the mare, a Pegasus, set down her bags, she looked over to you, surprised at first, then up to meet your eyes.
Oh, hi there. I'm Starry Dusk, but you can call me Dusk if you'd like.
The pony then walked up to you, extending a hoof out to greet you in a human-like fashion. Her muzzle was waist-height, causing her to look straight up at you. Her coat was a deep nardo gray, her eyes purple, her hair, or mane, was also purple, with a lavender hue to it, along with the feathers of her wings. Her cutie mark was a stereotypical star with a twilight effect around it. You extend your hand out to her. Chris.
Nice to meet you, Chris.
Her bright white smile caught you off guard. So, Dusk, we're gonna be roommates, it seems. She nodded, lifting her hoof slightly off the ground.
Yep, it seems like it. I've never lived with a human before.
What was it with ponies and being cute? Senior year. First semester closes in 1 week. It was late. Very late. You were surprised when you looked at the clock to see that it was almost 2 a.m. Studying for some of these classes felt like a joke. What was the point of remembering everything learned in such a short period of time if you were most likely to forget more than half of it the day after taking the test. You decided it was time for a quick break before studying for a little longer. Getting out of your chair, you went into the main living area to grab some sort of snack. Looking into your cabinet, you saw ramen, more damn ramen. Ooh, chips. You continue to look around before just settling for ramen and a cup of water. You would go to In-N-Out right about now, but the BMW needed gas, and it was just so much work to do all of that. As you waited for the water to heat up for the ramen, you sat at the island and folded your hands in your lap, hunching over a little. It was so quiet in the apartment, sitting in the dim light.
Chris?
Yeah?
You shot your arms up in a Jeepers Creepers fashion, startled by the sudden break of pure silence.
What the...
You look over to see Starry Dusk, standing in the hall, barely visible, her eyes near glowing. Her gaming headset was around her neck, the ambient lighting on them glowing purple.
Jesus, Dusk, you gave me a heart attack.
You're still standing, sweetheart.
That remark got your attention, as her eyelids lowered slightly, a small smile appearing.
Yeah, but... what are you doing up so late?
I could ask you the same question, Chris. I'm studying for an international marketing class I have tomorrow.
She started walking towards you, using her wings with one pump to get herself onto the stool next to you. Your shoulder brushed her side at first, but you leaned away to give her some personal space. She then took off her headset, setting it aside.
Yeah, I'm studying as well. Though I thought I'd take a quick break before studying for another 30 minutes or so.
She smiled again towards you.
You know, I thought you would be out right now, being a senior and all.
You know the same could go for you being a sophomore.
She looked at you in confusion, one ear drooping.
Oh, that's so cute.
Why is that?
Well, again, you're a sophomore, which means you got past freshman year, which also means you know how it all works, which is that college isn't as hard as they said it would be.
Fair point.
Silence. Starry Dusk started to look around the room. Upon realizing this, you took the opportunity to look at Starry Dusk in a rather more detailed fashion. Her figure was actually perfect when thinking about it. What humans strive to look like, ponies just had regardless of their status. The mares were cute, and the stallions were robust. A perfect example would be that pop singer princess, Pip Petals. She was the definition of that high school sweetheart. But those weren't your words, those were the words of Celebrity Magazine. After ponies became a thing, they basically worshipped both princesses and the queen. You never really had an opinion on ponies. Again, they were cute. The reasoning behind it wasn't really known. Guess it was just a human thing. You knew that it would be inevitable for humans and ponies to start looking at each other in a new light. It wasn't a big deal for you. Who were you to judge? Same-sex marriage didn't bother you, nor interrace, so ponies weren't either. You yourself have never thought about being with a pony, or... okay, maybe once or twice, but not much thought was put into it. You concluded that if the situation was in front of you, and you found them to be attractive, and not just physically, then you'd give it a try. But that hadn't come up yet. And to be fair, you did fear what others might think. None of your friends were in relationships with ponies, and any ponies that they did know were more acquaintances than friends. Starry Dusk had some sort of look to her. You didn't know if it was because she was a Pegasus, or if it was the fact that she always looked top-notch quality.
Something got your attention, Chris? You've been staring for quite a while.
You were once again startled out of your trance when you realized that you were caught staring.
Sorry, Dusk, just, lost in thought was all.
About?
I don't know.
You mumble, trying to dismiss her suspicion, but it's too late. She already knows. With one motion, she hoists herself up and onto the counter, plopping her butt onto it. She wiggled just a tad, now directly in front of you. You internally cringe slightly at the new view.
Someone's gonna have to wipe the counter down now.
She leans towards you, her muzzle inches away from your face.
Ever been with a pony before, Chris?
What?
Your breathing quickened ever so slightly, but enough to be noticed.
Aw, heart beating 1,000,000 miles an hour.
You shake your head.
Huh?
She snickers, now leaning into you, giving you a gentle kiss. Okay, this was a first. You've never kissed a pony before. Hell, you never even hugged a pony up until recently with Starry Dusk. And Starry Dusk, you've never seen this side of her. Usually she was rather chill and just a good friend, but not forward or anything at all like this. Her lips were soft, almost velvet-like. She tilted her head to the side, leaning into you more now. You weren't resisting, so you may as well just let it continue to happen. When she pulls away, you nearly follow her. Her breathing is slightly labored, looking at you with pure, unfiltered lust. You're blown away. The flavor of sweet berries were left in your mouth. Wow. You say, awestruck, and she giggled.
I'll say, you are a great kisser.
You now look down to see that your hands are now resting on her hind legs, which are dangling over the counter, nearly touching your thighs. You quickly retract them. Sorry.
Oh, for what?
She asks, grabbing your hands and placing them back in their original position. You take the hints and smile slightly. You were still nervous, but now you're more comfortable. As you both just stare at each other, a few things cross your mind. One is, what does this mean for your friendship with Starry Dusk? Will this hurt it in any way? Will this be forgotten by tomorrow? Will it be just a one-night stand? You've never slept with a pony before. Suddenly, her ears perk up.
Hey, I have an idea.
Really?
You aren't sure why, but your question seems to fuel her enthusiasm.
Oh, Chris, I look at you and can't help but get millions of ideas.
Her eyebrows raised slightly. A wink brought your way.
Oh my god, Dusk.
You say quietly, a toothy grin from you to her.
What's your brilliant idea?
After you eat your snack and study, why don't you meet me in my room, huh? Maybe a cuddle session, maybe... I don't know.
You got the memo, but you had to ask.
But Dusk, what does this mean for us?
Her confidence faltered slightly, but was quickly fixed.
That's for you to decide. If you need any help figuring it out, I can say that I certainly wouldn't mind if we got something out of this. And I know I can help you with your decision.
The alluring tone that this marrow emitted was intoxicating. You smile.
Okay, Dusk. Let's figure this out.
Talk about a way to end college on a good note. Am I right? Man, every time Waffle makes a new story, it's always good. And I have a strong feeling that he either got this idea or wrote it on a plane again.
Anywho, let's get on to our fancy donators. Top donators: Jessie, Smith, Star 630, BadassWaffle, Only One Thing, Ceru, Orion, and Caladis. Magic, JockeTF, Luciisu, Darkside, Rayden, Narwhals, Black Moon, Our Pastel Skies, Austin Mullen, Sword Brother, Mordred, Omicron Library, Rune Scythe, Will, Crust, Twinkie, Rysel, Shadowman, Luigi, Chancellor, Crust, Big Smoke, Bobcat, Murder Princess, Jet, LILmighty, Solar Symphony, and many more amazing people. Thank you all so much for watching this video and live life to the fullest.